Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the Pimp Slap P.O.D., Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike Money's killers might even make the evening news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Buzz Sports Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up? What up? TGIF. You already know we be pumping. God damn it, get in here and hit that like button. It's Friday. It's time to get that cash. Let's stack some chips and have ourselves a great push off into the weekend. Shout out to everybody that's here rocking off the top of the show. Appreciate all you guys. James Parm, new member out there. James, welcome to the crew. Clint, there's our guy Clint Zerling, says we be pubbing. Justin McKelvey's out here that says, yes, sir. Yes, sir, Justin. Let's go, my guy. Christopher Commentini, nice casher with Clemson. Oh, man, that was an interesting little game there for sure. A lot of interesting games here to start this day off. But Dan Kelly says, there he is. Thanks, Dan Kelly. Thanks for the kind words. My guy Ken Wood's in here, says, what up, Mike M? What up, Ken Wood? TGIF Ken Wood. That's what I'm thinking is up, my guy here. Happy to be at Friday. Can't wait for a weekend. And lots of sports on deck. And that's just how I like it. Best time of year to be involved in sports and be a sports fan. Let's rock and roll. Clint's already started drinking at halftime. Let's go. What up, what up, what up? Shout out to everybody that's out there. Jose Sierra, what's going on, my guy? Good to see you in the chat. Craig Wilkinson. And there's Joseph Thompson says, what up? Let's get that cash. You know it. You already know it. We want that cash. We need more of that cash. We need to make up a little cash from yesterday, too. So that's most important thing to get rocking here. But what a day yesterday turned out to be. You know, show-wise, not my finest hour. Not my finest hour. But talk about the finest hour in football in the NFL. I don't think I've had a day where I hit like every single prop, every single spot in a minute anyways. And that was a lot of fun. So not going to make the record over here, but if you guys followed and dropped in over on the last Thursday night stream of the season, then you know we already put some cash in the books. But we're going to get started here at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's Pub Sports Radio. You know what time it is. You know what day of the week it is here. Friday, the best day of the week. And if you haven't done so already, we ask you to do three things. You guys know the deal. Hit that thumbs up button. Smash that like button for us. Show the support. Show the cause. And help promote the brand. If you like what you're hearing, if you drop in, you want to throw some hate, you're looking for fans, I don't care what the reason is. Just hit that thumbs up button. Help us grow the brand. 2, grab a pen and paper. Lots of great picks, not just by myself out here, but the chat's where it's at, man. The chat's running hot, sharper than ever, and literally looking to give you guys the best plays that they've got as well, insight and contributions to the programming, because it's all about that last-minute information to try to get ways to cook the books. And last but not least, throw your plays out there in the chat. Let's talk about them. Let's see them on the screen. Try to do our best to promote every one of you guys that brings up those plays and those opportunities. Love DMing with you guys after the show, back and forth about different plays as well. So a lot of fun to be interactive and engage with you guys. And again, all looking to have fun, but making cash at the same time. So love it. Love hearing the angles that you guys bring to me as well. And that's what it's all about, man. It's all about working together as a team, a unified team that's trying to go out there and smash them bookies over the head. And that's what we're going to try to do tonight. So let's get going here. Crystal Craig. Hey, Crystal, what up? Nasty Nate, Mr. Trifecta. The Celtics didn't smash last night, my guy. They almost got smashed, but they came through in the end for you. And if you played that thing smart, I'm sure you did, got some good plus money along the way. So it's hard to believe a 17.5 point favorite could have a plus money spot against a team that hasn't won in forever. But sure enough, there was. And that was a fun finish to that game. I know some guys were kind of drawn on it. I'll tell you what, give it a little circle. Give it a little circle. Just suspicion I have. Look at that Denver Nuggets game. It's currently 30-1 is the first game that the Detroit Pistons are going to come out and win after that last victory that they had. So the streak is going to end with Denver Nuggets. Mark my words. Write it down. Make a note. We'll highlight it. It's about 5 games away. And looking forward to talking about that. So anyhow, we'll talk more about that when the time comes. There's Matthew Green. What up, Matthew Green? It's going to be his first time playing poker. Pump Sports Poker Tournament tonight. It's Friday. You already know we're looking to have a good time. The gang wants to assemble and make some cash at the same time. So get on out there if you haven't done so already. Plenty of time to register, and they'll get you guys rocking and rolling tonight. The chosen one likes the Knicks money line and the Nuggets -3.5. I like that Knicks money line quite a bit. There was a little bit of last-minute movement that kind of swayed me. So we'll see. JPZ says, stop it, Mike. All I'm going to say, JPZ, is 33. 33. Do some research. Check it out. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And, listen, we'll see what happens. No guarantees, but if they don't win between now and then, you bet your ass I'm going to go in there, and that's going to be a slammer for me. So, and it would be fitting. A team that, has been struggling and setting records for losing to go out there and get their first win against defending champions. Probably sit everybody on the Denver side of things, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. What up? What up, Dabby Cab? Our guy Dabby in the house. Of course, him and the fellas, they're going to be rocking on Saturday. They got a big live bet stream. They rock on Wednesdays with All About the Hoops. Our guy Dabby Cab and Pub Sports Radio. T-Mac riding with San Diego State. Washington first half. Asheville first half against the spread spots. And Justin says Pistons beat Raptors tomorrow at Pimp Slab. Hey, I'm okay with that, but I'm even better if they wait till it's a 30-1 spot for me to get that cash. So we'll see what happens. T-Mac says, Caster, take easy. Pistons beat the Nuggets. I'll shave my head. If the Pistons beat the Nuggets, I might grow my hair out, JPZ. How about that? Clint, what up? Clint says, let's go. Daddy Cab, let's rock and roll. MMA Locker Room says, yo, what's goody, my guy? MMA Locker Room in the house. And we got to get to that cash. First, we'll do a recap. You guys know transparency is important. Even if it wasn't our best day, we got to go through and be 100 with this thing, and that's what it all comes down to. So, we took it on the chin. We did win that Jets over 34, even though it dropped to 33.5, and that felt good. That was like a first half casher, too. That was a score fest in that game. We talked about it. I told you about some of them trends. We talked, we read it, we looked at the numbers, and then we talked even with Cooper out of there, Amari Cooper. What happens? They dropped the line even more. I mean, come on. That guy wasn't playing from the hop, and the books knew it. That's why it was only a half a point movement. So let's go. Habs, though, on the other hand, what a disappointment. What a bunch of shit, those guys. I mean, the fuck? You lose. You're down by 2 goals. You come all the way back, and I look down. There's 4 minutes to go in the game, and I'm like, all right, this 1.5 looks pretty good. And then bang, bang, they get their heads beaten in, and they lose by 2. I'm like, you fucking scrubs. Anyways, Vancouver under 6.5. That was a nice casher for us there. That was that Flyers under spot. The Flyers under spot. Vancouver and Edmonton parlay did not hit for us. UTSA. I've been getting my head clubbed with these totals in college basketball, so we're gonna have to tighten that up a little bit as we move forward. Montana +5 didn't cash either, but UC San Diego -7.5. We got there. And now the NBA. The fickle, cruel mistress that it is. Sultry mistress, after a nice little 3-0 day, came right back, and we went 1-4 in the NBA. Brutal. The Bulls -2.5. Loser. Utah over 239. And I'll tell you what, the only good thing that happened with the NBA for me yesterday was fading away on that New Orleans Pelican spot. We talked about there being absolutely no line movement. The number was stuck at 9, even 8.5s in some spots out there. What did we do? We took the first half cash. That was a big victory for the NBA yesterday. But the full game didn't get there. So let that be lesson to the wise. When you see these numbers are frozen like that, you got to start raising the flag. The Denver spot came through. Got a little too cute with that. Denver, and then Michael Porter Jr. over 2.5. And wouldn't it be fucking something right now? The entire population of betting planet is on Michael Porter Jr. They're laddering this fucking scumbags over 2.5 threes. Yeah, I'm passionate about this thing. He screwed me yesterday. Should have been a win. Now I see guys taking him up to 5+. Good luck. I hope he gets it. I'll probably end up being on it anyways. Guy, one day early to the party. You can't go away from a bad play just because it doesn't cash, but fucking scumbag. Anyhow, Golden State Warriors didn't get it done either at -5.5. So shitty day. Hate to have that recap, but we're going to do what we're going to do. We're going to move forward. They're not all going to be winners, and hopefully we can minimize those losers as we do it. So new day, new sheet, new slate. Starting out firing. So I'm feeling pretty good about what's happening today. Pretty good day thus far in college football. I don't have an official play on that last college football game. I'll tell you right off the hop, though, very similar trend that I was tracking yesterday with the NC State game applies to Missouri. So I know everybody wants to get on that Missouri side of things, but again, very similar. In fact, it's the same trend The only two teams that it applied to this bowl season were NC State and Missouri. So you want to take that 5.5 and put it in your back pocket. More power to you. It's not going to be an official play for me. That'll be the only thing I talk about with that game. So let's dig into the slate, though. You guys know the deal here. You're getting out of work. You're getting home. You're getting ready for dinner. Make sure you put this thing on. Let's go. You guys do what you got to do, and I'll share with you the splits, the angles, the trends. We'll talk about what the chat's got going on. Everyone wants to get paid. Let's all find a way to get to the window. You know what's up to. You'll see the layout. Top of the screen is going to be the look or the lean. The right-hand side is going to be kind of our rolling game that we're keeping track of here, the card, if you will, that's being played tonight. So we're going to get into it. Shout out to Keith, says, well done, Mike, still bringing insight and cashes for hey, you know what? They're not all going to be great, but we're going to try every single day to make victories happen. So Clint says, let's fade all of Twitter and take Ohio State -5. Hey, Clint, I'm not going to say that's not on my card. It's just not going to be something I go out and tell you guys that I don't have a strong enough opinion. I mean, he got the quarterback out of that game going to Syracuse. Love that he's going to Syracuse, but I don't have much more to say about that. So Jake Peasy, I need one more score in this Memphis game. Yeah, me too. I'm on this over. I'm not sure what the score is doing right now, but on that over, looking to make it happen in back complexes, Rhode Island versus who? We'll see what happens here, but let's go. Let's get into this thing here. We're going to start it out. We're going to lace up the skates and get into the ice tonight here. We got a nice little 5-pack in the NHL, and I will throw a cautionary on one of the plays. I'm still going to play it regardless, but I'll just kind of give you the cautionary on there. But first game I'm looking at here, bunch of games on the slate for a Friday. The schedule's a little different, so 36-30. All right, that gets me my over. Let's go. Oh, 36-20 or 36-30. All right. Well, we'll get there. I'll see. Nothing I can do about it now anyways, right? So play's already out there. I need 58.5 is what I need. 58.5. So we'll see how that does, but we'll see. So I'm looking at this first game here. I'm looking at this New Jersey Devils and Senators spot. It's a big card. And I put a bunch of things on the cutting room floor, but then I had to bring them back. I said, I don't want to leave a good play off the table here that I'm going to probably end up playing myself. So that being said, I started with this Devils game here. I'm looking at this Devils Ottawa Senators game, and we kind of know the narrative, right? We know that Ottawa's fired their coaches, cleaned house. They brought in the new staff, Jacques Martin, the dinosaur that he is, and then of course Alfredson out there, the team hero. So, or the franchise hero, I should say. And they've gotten their wins now. We didn't get the timing right with the first one there, but they are bringing Korpisalo back in, and it's going to be his second start since Christmas. He had a big game out there, 34 saves on 36 shots against Toronto, which was his first win under the new coach. And I noticed with these coaching changes, there's a big angle that it's almost like these coaches and goalies kind of connect with each other and they kind of go on these tears. But I don't think that's going to be the case tonight. On the other side of things with the Devils, speaking of goaltending, they're having some challenges right now. Vanacek's their guy. He's 13-6-1. But he's 88.5% save percentage. Korpisalo, who's at 7-11 on the season, is an 89.4% save percentage. So I kind of threw that out of rhythm for you guys. But nonetheless, it certainly supports a spot that Korpisalo might be the better goalie at first glance. But, the thing is, when you look at the New Jersey Devils, first of all, they've got, they're 2-1-1 in their last 4 games. They've gotten points in each of their last 4 spots out there. They've been finding a way to get the job done. And I think that shows their competitive, prowess, if you will. But they fight start to finish. They're 6-1 in game number 1s of a back-to-back spot. So this is kind of the big factor for New Jersey Devils. You would think about the zigzag and kind of the situation that is. It's real for the New Jersey Devils. They're 6-1 in game 1 of a back-to-back. They're 1-6 in game 2. So, tonight I thought was the spot. When you're on the road and you're in the first leg of a back-to-back after you just came off a victory, you're 76-31 across the NHL. So that's a big supporting mechanism for, that kind of first leg of the back-to-back. I just told you the Devils 6-1 game 1s of a back-to-back. And the Devils are road warriors. They play some of their best hockey on the road. They're 10-5. They've owned the Senators their last 3 meetings as well. And, I think it's really led by a powerful offense. Their defense, suspect. Their goaltending, suspect, what's happening with Vanacek right now on the season, but I think they can outscore Ottawa Senators right now who, they came off that big Christmas victory. It was a big win for them against Toronto, but now you got the Devils road warriors coming into town. They're pissed. They're ready to roll. And you're giving it to me at -115 where they play their best hockey in the best spot in the next 2 days. Absolutely. First play on the card for me. I'm locking down the New Jersey Devils and we will continue on to the next game. Justin says Senators +1.5 and Penn State moneyline parlay. I saw a couple of cool little parlays on DraftKings today, and I thought they were pretty neat. Like they got all the Penn State players, bundled up, and I saw another one with the Memphis players bundled up. So there's some cool ways to do it out there. And JPZ says everyone but Mike likes Ottawa. I lean towards New Jersey too. Sens are usually a fade for me. Yeah, listen, everybody can have it, and they're going to catch their days, but that's usually when we excel, JPZ. You already know, my guy. You don't know JPZ's on the intro. Let's go. Let's go. Clint says, cash that over. We got it. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's keep it rolling. Chris Comatini is going to ride the Sens train. Hey, more power to you. That's everyone's prerogative. That's Jimmy always says. That's what makes this stuff fun, and I don't disagree, although I prefer to win. So we'll see what happens. Let's go. Let's talk about the next game here. This was kind of a last-minute ad. I was looking at the card, and I thought about it, and I said, you know what? How can I not be in this particular spot here? We've got two strong goaltenders in this Rangers and Panthers situation, and Panthers in trouble in this game, in my opinion. I think we got very much a live dog. I don't like that the line is moving, in such a coin flippy type spot. A lot of buyers on the Florida Panthers at home, and they've been playing some really strong puck right now. But look at the goaltending situation with this game. You've got in the net for the Rangers. You're going back to Jonathan Quick. We timed that fade. He was 9-0-1 the other day. We faded his ass, and it was good for us. But I think it's a good bounce back spot. He had 4 goals on 28 shots. Speaking of everybody being on the side, that was the spot, JPZ, where everybody was on the New York Rangers, and we were on the Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton Oilers came through and got the job done with us for a nice plus money spot. But I do think it's a good bounce back opportunity. He was 85.7% saving. He's 92% on the season, Jonathan Quick, at 9-1-1. Other side of the ice there, you've got SpongeBob Bobrovsky going in net at 16-9-1. I didn't have any cocktails at lunch, so it might just be early signs of a stroke. That's okay. It's okay. We'll just keep going. 91% save percentage for Bobrovsky out there. And again, another strong performance for Bobrovsky. Both teams now have 2 wins in a row. Both goaltenders now have 2 wins in a row. We just talked about that Quick spot out there. Bobrovsky is going for his 4th straight win, and he's had 2 big games. He just played against Tampa Bay and Vegas. 50 saves on 54 shots in those games themselves. And the problem, I think, there is that the Rangers, when they're on the road, very much a dangerous team. That's where they play their strongest hockey. We just talked about the Devils playing strong hockey on the road. Same thing with the Rangers. They get away from Madison Square Garden. Things loosen up. They're 5-1 on the road in their last 6 spots as well. And I just looked at this matchup and I thought, well, I think the Rangers probably pulled this game off, but I like the better look here with the playoff type matchup here. We're going to have a tight competitive game. We're going to have a tightened up defense. Neither team's been going out there lighting the world on fire. If you look at the Florida Panthers, they're one of the lowest scoring teams at home in the NHL. They're allowing 2.8 goals per game, and they've gone under at home in 8 of 15 games this season. So we got the 6.5 as kind of that lofty ceiling number. At 6, I'd still like it, but I'm going to pay up the juice to take the 6.5 at -120 because I want the win. I don't want the push in this game here. I think this is an opportunity for us to take advantage. The Rangers also, they score in bunches. We know that they're a ferocious team and can pop 2 or 3 pucks in the net right quick, but over their last 5 road games, they've only gotten 13 goals. I think the stronger play, if you break that down, we're we're right around that 2.25 or so a spot. And I think if you go the 2.25 and the 2.8, we're sitting there underneath the 6, in my opinion. And I like that 6.5. So I'm paying up. I think it's a good bounce back spot for Jonathan Quick. Bobrovsky's going to come bring his A game. These 2 teams are going to play tight, competitive hockey. It's probably going to be a physical game. And I'm paying up to the -120 for the 6.5. Because I want that cash, I don't want the push. This is an opportunity to buy up and take advantage and get that money. So play number 2, locked and loaded. Let's go. Next game, JPZ says New Jersey Devils. Let's fucking go. Let's go. Let's go, my guy, JPZ. Joseph Thompson, there he is. He's got the best bets out there. Want to recognize those as well. He's been firing, comes in every day bringing his hard work. He likes the Kent State St. Mary's over 132.5. And he likes the McNeese State, Michigan over 146 from our guy, Joseph Thompson. Appreciate you, Joseph Thompson, bringing the goods, bringing the heat. Let's go. Cheshire Cat. Let's go, says LOL SpongeBob. When he played for Philly, I hated that name, but now I don't mind calling it to him, especially if I need him to come out there and save the puck. So, he looked really good against Tampa. Absolutely right on, Cheshire Cat. And Chosen One says, I'm close to pulling on that Kent State St. Mary's over also. So, action from the crew out there trying to make that money. Let's talk about making that money here. Is it too easy for this Dallas first period over? Look, Dallas is home. We've talked about this before. Dallas at home, first period overs have been fired. It's a lean for me at this point. It's an unofficial spot, but I'm going with the over in this game. Good opportunity, I think, for us to get this cash. We talked about this the other day, and Chicago let me down because Mrazek had one of those stellar performances where he wins the game 2-1 against the was that the Winnipeg Jets, led by a Connor Bedard overtime game-winning goal. Disappointment, but there still is a 12-1 trend now to the over for the Chicago Blackhawks when the line's over a -175. So when they're big dogs, there's pucks flying, 3.3 to 3.9, the average goal situation. And they got this one pegged at a 6. I know Dallas with Wedgwood, he's 9-2-2 in net, Wedgwood, but he's 3.0 goals allowed, 90.5% saving. Mrazek, on the other hand, 9-11 with a 2.98 goals allowed average with a 91.1% save percentage out there. He plays incredibly well, Mrazek does, against Dallas. He does have a 3-5-1 record against Dallas, but he's only got a 2.41 goals against average, better than his average right now, and a 92.3% save percentage. I get it. Wedgwood, on the other hand, he's going for his 6th start in a row because we know that Ottinger went down a couple of weeks back, but I love the 6 at this price here, specifically a -120 spot. I like the -120 to pay up for the 6 in this case because I want the push to be in play. Both these teams just came off of some 2-1 opportunities out there. I think the pucks are going to be up-flying. We know that the Chicago Blackhawks, again, we're in a 12-0 trend to the over, now 12-1, but it's been going over by 1.08 goals a game. And I just think it's a good opportunity where we're looking at Mrazek, who just had a huge victory to let down here. He is who he is. And, despite that stellar performance and what he's done, I think Dallas is going to notch one here. I'm not going to go out there and pay this price. I see a lot of guys trying to do some things with Connor Bedard and his over shots on goals. And those are pricey, though. They're like -170 spots to take over 2.5 shots. That's not where I'm going to take my action. I do want to see some goals. I'm just going to sit back and hope for a score fest in this game. 3-3 going into overtime. Would that surprise me? Absolutely not. And again, I lean to that first period over because of the Dallas trend, but I think the stronger play in this game is Dallas over 6. Let's keep it rolling. Moving on along the ice. Keith says lots of movement in that Celtics-Raptors game. Raptors taking some late play. Likes the Raptors to cover the spread at +5.5. Celtics back-to-back nights and went to overtime. You don't think they want to drop that? I don't have a play in the game, but it just seems to me like they want to get that bad taste out of their mouth. And what a better team than to beat the shit out of the Toronto Raptors. So anyhow, let's go. Let's talk about this next play. Speaking of that bad taste, I seem to be on the wrong side of Philadelphia every opportunity I get. This is the alert that I wanted to share, though. Keep an eye on Travis Konechny. If Konechny's not playing in this game, that may or may not affect the way I feel about it. But I think this is a good Philadelphia spot right now. We have Carter Hart going in goal at 9-6-2 for Philadelphia. And it was a strange situation. We talked about this. He's sick. He's hurt. He's sick. He's hurt. Didn't play a ton in the month of December. In fact, where's the numbers that I have for him? He's 3-0-1 in the month of December. So only 4 games in this stretch that the Flyers have been playing pretty strong in. But he did come in last game. It was weird. Like going into the third period, Arison had a little dehydration. And so Carter Hart comes in, looked pretty good. He had 8 saves on 8 shots. No letdowns there. So it kind of almost seemed like a little conditioning challenge for him. And he met the challenge. So the other side of things, Seattle's bringing in Dackard as a 7, 5, and 8 goaltender. A lot of losses and a lot of overtime games for that guy. 2.53 with a 91.3% save percentage. And this kind of fits the perfect scenario in this case here. When you've got more rest over your last 2 games, you're playing a losing team. A losing team is defined as a team that's 50% or less for their season record. So you've got more rest over the last 2 games. The Christmas break factored in for the Flyers in this case. They're playing a losing team in Seattle. They're on the road. And their opponent's first game back home. Happens quite a bit. It's 40-16 in favor of that road team. So 40-16 opportunity covering by over a goal a game. The over certainly is a trend as well. The 36-17 of the over in that same scenario. I know Seattle's won 3 games in a row, but Flyers are flying right now, man. Again, here's another team that goes out on the road and plays incredibly well. They're 11-4-3 on the road this season. And it's their defense, contrary to what typically happens year in and year out with the Flyers. They got strong defense right now. They're only allowing 2.5 goals a game on the road this season. That's 4th lowest in the average in the NHL. You're going to give me the Flyers team that's been firing pretty hot right now at a +118 spot. Let me just do a quick line shop here. Plus 118 on Caesars right now, down a little bit. So that's okay. That's moving in the direction we want to see as well. I'm all over this flyer spot tonight. Konechny certainly will be a situation where I depend on how many. I'm not going to move off of it regardless of Konechny. It's just a matter of how much more am I going to move on it, if that makes sense, right? So, I've already got a unit on that thing stretched across the board with the entire card. And it's just, again, a matter of how much more do I go in. I do believe in that star player theory. The first game the guy's out, you step in there, they're going to find a way to cover the gaps. And hockey, especially because they've got so many guys. They got, they dress a 20-person squad day in and day out, and they got another half a dozen guys that are on the bench on waiting to be dressed as far as kind of sitting in the stands, keeping stats and things like that. So plenty of guys to step in and fill the hole. They are a pretty young team, but I think they've got a lot of good chemistry going on right now. Tortorella seems to be the guy that's binding them together, and he's the guy they needed. So that's going to do it there. Kelly B, what's up, Kelly B? Says Keith, under Toronto, Boston 225. There we go. Who scored the 300th goal the other night? Oh, and by the way, wasn't it just the I forgot the actual number. What is this? Was it this 300th win now for the Flyers and John Tortorella? I think that was a big game there the other day for him. So big win, moving on in the right direction. And Ricky Levine says he likes Philly to pimp slap. Let's get that cash. Plus money spot. Got to take an opportunity with it. So not just a plus money spot, but again, a strong trend that supports this situation where Seattle's kind of coming back from that road trip. First game backs are always difficult. They say the hardest part about a road trip is the first game back from a road trip. So I heard that the other day. I thought it was kind of catchy. Let's go. Let's talk about the last game on the card here. Again, we're going to go dog hunting again. We're going to bring the dogs out, and we're going to try to chase down a little dinner here. We're going with the Anaheim Ducks. I can't believe it. Cannot believe it. But I told you guys about this before. Ingram, they broke him. Arizona had a strategy. They wanted to have a 2 to 3 goalie rotation, and they just kept going to Ingram. Well, guess what happened? He's 1-4 in his last 5 now. So 91.6% save percentage for Ingram out there. On the flip side of things, you have Gibson at 90.7. Gibson's record at 7-13 and Ingram's record at 12-7. Probably more a reflection of what Arizona is than who Gibson is, if that makes sense, because Anaheim's went on that shit losing streak for a while. They're just a tough team to back and get behind. But tonight, I can certainly get behind them. I know they had the 4th worst offense in the NHL, to plant the story there, at 2.65 goals for, but they just came off a big win against Las Vegas. It was not just a 3-2 overtime win. They paddled them. They handled them 5-2, and Gibson gets the reward from a big victory and starts again tonight. So 30 of 32 shots against that Vegas team. Oh, by the way, everybody was on the other side of Vegas last night. That was my lean, was on Vegas. I said, this isn't a good spot for the Kings. And sure enough, it wasn't. Vegas ends up coming out there and cleaning their clocks. But I think that shows the strength of that Vegas team. And even though they've been on a losing streak, we can dismiss that a little bit because, again, they just played that best team in the West in the LA Kings, and they handled them, boys. So, right now we've got Gibson going for his 3rd win in a row. He's 48 saves on 51 shots in that stretch. He's 2-0 in his last 2 games as well. So he's been playing incredibly well. Now, here's the thing about the most recent matchup. November 1st, Anaheim wins against Arizona 4-3. So, yeah, that's almost 2 months ago now. But the thing is, they had Dostal in net, and now they're bringing in, Gibson, who's their better goaltender between the two, in my opinion. So the big trend that we're looking here, we've been following this thing for a while. You've heard me say it before. It's been cashing. What happens with Arizona after a physical game? Physical game defined by their opponent put 20 or more hits on them. They're 5-32 over the last 37 times they got out there in a physical matchup. That wears them down. They get abused. That gets sore. Then they've got a situation where you've got your goaltender in Ingram, who's 1-4 in his last 5 games. I think it's a great opportunity to take a shot with the Ducks. And again, coming off that big chemistry building victory after Christmas, things are a little bit looser. The puck starts finding the back of the net a little bit more. And I think it's a great opportunity to exploit a bad Arizona spot. So love that. That's going to do it for us in the NHL. Let's see what you guys have to say in the chat. Caddy Daddy. What up, Caddy Daddy? He says, Caddy's gift. He likes the Rangers, Panthers. No goal in the first 10 minutes. Like it. That supports what I was talking about with that under. Good look there. New York Rangers gift. Scored last 5. 1 of 5. Quick gift. Given up last 5. You got a lot of gift in there, my guy. All I can see is gift. I can't read that. So Lexicon says he's on Arizona. Let's go. Best of luck. Yeah, best of luck. We don't always have to be on the same side. I just kind of share with you guys the angles and how I got to the spot that I got to. So that's the way it goes. It's all good. We'll see what happens at the end. We'll add them all up. We'll see. We'll keep it rolling. And let's keep it rolling. Let's talk about the next spot on the card here. Big NBA card tonight. As far as the NBA concerned, I wanted to kind of come in a little gun shy here, little trepidatious about what happened there yesterday. And my order's a little screwed up here because, no problem, Katie. I saw gift in there every 3 words, and I couldn't make sense of it. I read everything on the screen. So let's talk about this again. I apologize for the order. That's on me. I added this one kind of impromptu here. So the first game I'll talk about with the card tonight is this Hornets and Suns game. And let's look at the line here. This is where, again, I think the splits become more relevant when it comes to basketball and football and such. And we've got the Hornets and Suns first game on the card for me in the NBA. This line opened up at 13.5. The Suns laying a hefty number, 62% of the bets, only 42% of the cash on the Suns. And it has moved 2.5 points. So interesting enough, though, that sharp movement is what's kind of coming in late here. A lot of that bigger money, I perceive it to be sharp, right? We talk about this all the time. The cash, to me, represents the bigger bettors, the guys that have to go to the limit, the guys and girls that have to go to the windows and get permission to bet the size that they're trying to bet. And in this case, in the last 2 hours, they've been coming in on the Hornets. So it's almost like they let that line get up to 16, and now there's buyback in the other direction. As far as the total, this is a little interesting spot for me. 233.5 is where it opened. It's sitting at 231.5 right now. We have 38% of the bets, but 80% of the cash on the over. And that's where I'm going as well. I'm following that bigger money. I think this is a great opportunity for this spot, specifically if you look at these two teams, kind of recent propositions here. Yeah, the Suns just played the Rockets. That was an over spot. But before that, 4 straight under games. So we're seeing that they're starting to price those things a little bit lower, and the Suns are able to come in there and take care of it. On the flip side of things, the Hornets are all over the place. They've kind of played to their competition, and when their competition is of decent competition, they kind of tighten up, and when they get to play some of those sloppier teams, they loosen up. But I think in this case here, this is an opportunity that's more for the Suns than it is for the Celtics play, in my opinion here. So the Hornets, the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets are 5-0 to the over when they're on the road, and the total is 227 or higher. So there's a big supporting cause for the Hornets to help push this pace. And 7 of the Suns' last 8 home games against the Hornets have gone over the total. So here's that spot where I think they rise to the competition. We know the Hornets on the road can certainly go over. We know these two teams play to an over. And the Suns are 23-3 to the over when they're at home versus an opponent that went under the last time they played, and the total was lower than this game. So that's that line functionality factor where the books are coming back out there saying, we know these guys just played, and when they did, well, not just played, but when they did play, it went under. Now they're benchmarking it higher. They're expecting this to be a score fest as well. And score fest it is. The sharper money, the bigger money, the trends and the angles give me the Suns for the first half spot there. Ian Shaver, our guy, gifting a Pub Sports Radio membership. Shout out to you, Ian. I appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you dropping in, sharing looks, sharing love, sharing memberships. Our guy, Ian Shaver, appreciate you, dude. Thank you much for everything you do. I hope you have a great weekend. Friends and family, enjoy the holidays. Happy New Year to you, my guy, Ian. And hit that like button. Let's go. Make sure you hit that like button, Ricky Levine. Thank you, my guy. Appreciate it. Kelly V says Spurs, Port last night and again tonight. We're going to talk about that game. I got a spot on that one. And Real Deal Prime says, sup, Buttercup. I love Buttercup. Caddy Daddy's leaning the Islanders Capitals under first period, under 1.5 at -1.5. Wouldn't be mad at that. I think that's going to be a lower scoring game as well. Those two teams like to play low scoring battles, but let's keep rolling. Let's talk about game number 2 in the association tonight. Again, I'm my order problem, so I apologize to you guys here. I try to keep them going down the line, but on me. And we've got the Kings and we've got the Atlanta Hawks here. Line opens at 1.5, and depending on where you go, you're going to see a little flip-flop in the line. There's still some spots that are laying, 1.5s for the Atlanta Hawks. Then there's some spots that are, laying 1.5 points for the Sacramento Kings. So I see a +1 that's out there right now. I'm going to take the +1. It's a 5-cent difference between the +1 and the money line, -105 on the money line, -110. If it was a bigger gap in there, if it was like a +105, I might consider the money line in this case, but give me the point just in the event it comes down to a bucket. 51% of the bets and 67% of the cash sitting there on the Sacramento Kings. And we're seeing that number has crossed zero and moving on to the other side. The total is kind of intrigue here. Opens at 252.5. Huge number. We know the Hawks have decided all but to play defense in the NBA this year. And with 81% of the bets and 88% of the cash, we still have this thing sitting at 252.5. Frozen line alert right there. That should definitely send a red flag after we talked about this yesterday. We've been talking about this all week, and here's one of those spots. Will this one get over the total? I'm not entirely sure. But when I looked at this thing, I thought the Hawks are bad right now. The Hawks at home can't cover. They couldn't cover their heads with a hat at this point. They're 1-13 against the spread at home their last 14 games. I mean, that's horrible. They're losing to the spread by almost 4 points a game. They're also 1-12 against the spread after a loss. So I think the public's onto something here. I think the bigger money, again, saying this Kings opportunity, 17-12 versus a 12-18 Hawks team that's really been kind of struggling to find their way. They're currently in the stretch of a 3-game losing streak. They lost on December 22nd before. It's kind of that Christmas pivot point. Going into that Christmas break, they lose to Miami on the road. Then the 23rd, they lose to the Memphis Grizzlies. That Ja spot was a big factor for them there. After the Christmas break, they get whacked by the Chicago Bulls on the road. So difficult travel spots for them around the holidays. And then on the other side of things, when you look at the Kings, they're 1-3 in their last 4, but I don't think they're playing to their potential. I think that's why the number is as generous as it is right here, because I think the Kings are going to put boots to ass on the Atlanta Hawks tonight. So time will tell in that game. But again, I just think there's a lot of reasons to fade Atlanta, specifically at home, off a loss. Kind of all signs say go for me in that spot. Let's keep it rolling. Let's move on. Next game we're going to talk to you guys about here. Let me pull it up on the screen. Memphis Grizzlies. Oh, yeah, those guys. We're going to roll back to them tonight. It's going to be a great Grizzly spot, I think, for us. And this line's been moving substantially. Definitely an injury factor, when it comes to Kawhi Leonard being out of this game. You look on the other side of things, there was questions about Ja. Looks like he should be a go. If you guys see it or hear anything different, then please let me know. But we see this line open at 6.5, now down to 4.5. So it has moved off that 5 from earlier. 64% of the bets and 75% of the cash on the Memphis Grizzlies. The total opens at 224.5, shoots up 4 points to 228.5 right now. 79% of the bets, 85% of the cash on the over, and they are moving in accordance. So the books are showing that vulnerability for this thing being a score fest here. And I think it's get right. The Grizzlies, look at what they've done. We talked about their 4-0 straight up. We talked about their 4-0 against the spread since Ja's come back. The Denver game, bad spot for them last night. We knew that was going to be the case. We talked about Denver being in a good spot to win that game and put the brakes on that Memphis Grizzlies trend. On the other side of things, Clippers, again, look at that going into the holiday spot. December 21st, OKC, they get beat down. They play Boston. They get smoked against Boston. Then they come out of Christmas. They pick up a win against the Charlotte Hornets. Good job, Hornets. I mean, come on. You got the Hornets. Good work there. They're on a losing streak and a half themselves. Then you look at this thing and, teams that have no rest, that just came off of a 19-point or bigger spread beatdown, are 22-5-2 versus a team they beat as a dog the last meeting. So huge opportunity for the Grizzlies. It speaks exactly to the position they're in. Big spread deficiency last night. No rest. 22-5-2. I wouldn't be mad at anybody that wants to consider the over. I think as a strategy, I'm going to look for the second half over, because we know these second legs of the back-to-backs, the defense becomes optional and the scores start to fly. So also Memphis 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 versus the Clippers themselves. So, the big factor here, though, when it comes to this back-to-back spot, here's how I kind of put all these pieces together. You look at that spot where you have this 22-5 teams off of no rest, just getting beat down. They were getting beat down so much that guess what happened? They started going deeper in the bench. That means that not one of the starters had more than 28 minutes of court time last night against Denver. So granted the travel, granted the back-to-back, you take Kawhi Leonard out of the equation, most impactful guy on the LA Clippers. His point differential is number 1 in the team at plus 15. When he's on the court, shit starts to happen. He's a guy that gets 24.4 points a game, 5.9 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and 2.7 steals. That's taking points away from the other team's, side of the equation here. I think he's a big gap to fill. You guys hear me. I always talk about the players don't make that much of a difference, but I think in this case, Kawhi does. Ja, obviously, that's a huge factor in terms of the pivot between these two guys. And I love the opportunity. Again, the fact that they just got blown out means their legs aren't as tired as you would think. And I think it's a great opportunity for the Grizz to get back at that +5. Do they win outright? I don't know. I don't think so, but I like the 5. I think it's going to probably be a last basket kind of game. Maybe we see overtime again. Overtime would be a killer for these boys if we do see overtime, because then I think the legs will be a factor. You got 2 games back to back, traveling around altitude. That's certainly going to be a factor. So Dial H, just so many stats. Hey, man, that's what we're doing here. We're trying to give you guys some angles and some trends to try to find a way to cook the books, my guy. That's what we want to do. Want to give you guys some helpful strategies to try to get those victories here. And let's talk about the last game in the NBA for you guys tonight. Last spot that I was looking at here, I'm going San Antonio and Portland. San Antonio and Portland. San Antonio stinks, man. They're just not good. I hate to say it with Wemby or not, but it doesn't look like he's going to be playing tonight is what I saw kind of last note out there. This line opened at 4.5. Now it's moved to 5.5. So 72% of the bets and 94% of the cash on the Trailblazers. Yeah, that concerns me a little bit. I don't like to be in that spot with 94%, but we got some great competitive spots here, given that it's that back-to-back scenario. 234.5 where the total opened. It's down to 232.5 and 231.5. 59% of the bets and 83% of the cash on the over. I looked long and hard at this under. I thought even, do I want to try to tease it? Do I want to just parlay the two together? I might get there by tip-off at 10 p.m. Eastern to take this under as well. But the spot that I'm riding here, I'm riding with these Trailblazers. When you're a dog facing the same team that they beat the previous game, if the rematch is being played on no rest, that's this spot exactly. You're in a rematch spot. You were a dog. You're a dog. You're 1-15 against the spread. You're getting beat down by almost 9 points in those rematch spots. So history shows that this is a very bad spot for San Antonio. We already know that San Antonio is bad to begin with. The Spurs have lost 15 of their last 16 games on the second leg of a back-to-back as well. I think this is my favorite spot on the card. The Fire Trail Blazers. The Fire Blazers are going to get it done for us tonight here. -5.5. I don't like that everybody, that large public numbers on there, but there's just too many supporting scenarios for this specific instance not to take advantage of this Trailblazer spot. And you're telling me the Spurs are going to come out here and sneak them? The Spurs stink on their second half of a back-to-back. And this case here is picture-perfect fit. I might add the under, too, depending on how the night's going there. But again, wanted to make sure you guys kind of saw and heard where I was at with that one. And let's go. Let's keep it rolling. 2 tight basketball games for you guys tonight that I wanted to talk about in college. Trying to stay away from these. I got to do a better job with these totals. How you feel about them Sixers, says Don Play. I like the Sixers tonight. I don't like Houston. I know a lot of folks are thinking it's a Houston spot, but Embiid or not, that's just a battle of men versus boys right now. And the Rockets are very much boys. I know that they over exceeded expectations early in the season. They were winning like crazy at home. And now everyone's like, oh, well, they've lost 3 in a row. They're going to bounce back. They lost 3 in a row because they're not a good team. They're fundamentally flawed. And I think in this case here, the Sixers are choosing to rest Embiid because they know they're going to whoop them boys anyway. So I think it's a good opportunity for the Sixers. I almost had that on the card, by the way. I almost had that one on the card. I almost had the Knicks on the card, or for 2 more plays that I was thinking about adding to the equation tonight. But kind of some weird movement on that Knicks spot of things. And, anyhow, that's some thoughts that I had there. But let's talk about these 2 college basketball games I've got for you guys here, starting here shortly as well. So we want to get to these and get the plays in. We're doing well with timing. Looks like we trimmed this card down to the right spot. And even better now, we got a point movement for us. Stetson, Charlotte spot here. This line opened at 3, now sitting at 4.5, 49% of the bets and 79% of the cash on Stetson. Now it's 4.5. I know this is one of those situations where we've got the reverse line movement, but 136.5 is where the total opens up at. Depending on where you shop at this thing now, everybody's betting the under. And it's moved up to 138, 72% of the bets and 85% of the cash on the under. And it just ticked down. It was 138. Now we're seeing 137. So a little bit of movement just in the closing thoughts here of this game here. But we've got Charlotte at 6-5, Stetson at 7-6. This one came hot off a Steam report for me. So large group buying going on right now for Stetson. And now it looks like they're buying into that total. So no fancy trends or funkiness there, just a straight Steam report opportunity for me, a notification alert that I get. You look at this thing, 1-4 is Stetson in their last 5, but it's who Stetson's played that makes this thing important for me. They just had a big game against Cincinnati. They were getting 20.5 points. They were up at some points in that game. They gave Cincinnati some fits. They only lost that game 83-75, getting 20.5. And then on the other side of things, you got a Charlotte team that does have a game against Duke, but they already played Stetson. They played Stetson on December 5th. They beat them 85-62, laying 8. So even though they whooped up on them, laying 8 points, now we've got some pretty significant line movement the other direction in a rematch revenge spot. We talk about day in and day out how hard it is to play a team the second time through and then eventually the third time through. And I think it's a good opportunity right now. Again, the Steam report showing that there's some big, significant buying opportunity on Stetson. It's 4.5 now. So interesting number that's moved a little bit there. Maybe the public's coming back and saying they just played them and they whooped them. I don't care. Stetson's won each of its last 9 games against non-conference opponents when they're at home. So Stetson, very much, in my opinion, a live dog in this spot to get this game won outright. 4.5's out there. That'll be the official number we take. Just for edification here, plus 163, the best money line number that's out there. I'm going to have a little sprinkle there as well when we get off the show, but just wanted to give you guys the thought there. Thanks, MMA Locker Room. I love, but you look like a polar bear. I appreciate it, man. I had to work hard to get this gray beard, so a lot of cocktail, I think, led to that equation. But let's go. Let's talk about the next game that I've got for you guys here. Closing out the card, another 7 p.m. special. I believe it's 7 p.m. Let me just double check and make sure. Yes, it is. Cincinnati and Evansville here, and this is an interesting game. 41% of the bets and 88% of the cash looking at that Evansville side of things, and it's moved 3 points. 18.5 is the number that you can get now. There are still some 18s out there. So we'll use that as the number. I'll line shop this thing, but we've got 149.5 as the opening total. It's moved up 2 points to 151.5. 55% of the bets, 57% of the cash on the under, and it's moving up. So interesting opportunity here. When you look at this thing, I just want to double check the number. All right, 18 is the best spot we're going to get. Doesn't affect me. Doesn't that half a point's not going to matter to me in this case here. Look at this game. Look at these two teams. Yeah, they're both 10-2. Got it. I see that. And I'm assuming that's why everybody's jumping in saying we got 2 10-2 teams. And we're getting now 18 points on Evansville. Give me all those points. But not all 10-2s are created equal in this case. I know Evansville's going for their 4th win, but they're not playing anybody. You're beating up on a bunch of dog shit. All that's going to do is get you covered in dog shit. So I think in this case, Evansville, Tennessee Tech last game, 82-51 victory for them. Great. But on the other side of things, Cincinnati definitely has had a schedule in front of them. They played some A-10 teams. They got some Big Ten teams in the equation as well. And I think it comes down to just the battle of the teams here. When you look at this lineup here, I like the Cincinnati team a lot. It's one of my early picks to go deep into the tournament here. Victor Lakin, 13.8 points per game, 8.5 rebounds a game. Day Thomas, 11.5 points a game, 2.9 assists per game. And Dan Schilling's 11.3 points a game, 6.8 rebounds a game. Those guys are ballers, man. They got a top 3 that are all double-digit scorers and impacting both sides of the court. They're averaging 82.6 points a game as a team. They're shooting at 46.2%. They're 34.5% from the 3, and they're 68.5% from the foul line. There's a reason these two teams are priced the way they are, and that reason is exposure. Only one top 100 team has Evansville faced, and the 2 road games that Evansville's had this year, these two true road games, try saying that 10 times fast, 2 true road games that these two teams have played, they got blown out. They got beat down by 41 points. Then they go out and they play Missouri State and they lose by 12 points. So Evansville whooped them 41 points. I'm sorry, BYU whooped Evansville 41 points and 12 points Missouri State on their 2 true road battles. Double-digit losses against a team that's deep, talented, and looking to go the distance here. Bad spot for Evansville tonight. Laid that 17.5, now 18. We're still going to take it and move forward. So let's go. Rock out with everybody out there. Shout out to all you guys that are here. We have plenty of time to get to the windows for this. And I want to recognize everybody dropping in here. Happy Friday. It's the last Friday before the new year. And we'll see everybody again. I believe Tuesday we'll be back here as well. So stay tuned. That may be subject to change. But shout out my guy Smoking Mirrors. MMA Locker Room, dropping in, sharing the biz, giving me a hard time. I like it. Let's go. And Kelly B says, man, Bear, moneyline first quarter plus 310, second quarter, moneyline plus 260, Charlotte moneyline, that is. Just some info since you like Charlotte. I can see Suns on a teaser. Okay, I got it. You guys are talking about the end. I was like, shit, I just talked about Charlotte. Justin says he's adding Stetson now. I like that Stetson spot. I think it's going to be a good opportunity for them boys. And Kelly V says under in the Philly-Seattle hockey game tonight. Appreciate her sharing it out there. And Lexicon, of course. Don Play coming in here. Darius Moore. What does everybody think that the best play is there? I'm sure they're dropping them in the chat. Joseph Thompson added a spot for us there. Missed that one. Joseph Thompson, appreciate you sharing. Says he likes that Jackson State Northwestern over 139. I already talked to you guys about that Sixer spot as well. Manberry says he likes to pick. Can only take Blazers as a dog myself, but I can see them covering easily on that Portland game. So a lot of fun. MMA Locker Room dropping a look out there. Likes Harden over 20.5 points, 8.5 assists. The Beard has been cooking up in LA's last 7 games as well. Boy, I'm struggling to read today, you guys. It's later in the week. It happens to me. I'm looking at screens all day, all week, all night. It's like, at some point it starts to become a blur. So let's go. If you guys haven't done so, our guy Joseph Thompson says it. Get in that poker tournament. Kelly V says the rebounds on Nurkic. Over, KD rebounds over. And I'll give you guys the recap on the card, and we'll get everybody off to their weekends here. We're going to start the card out. I got the New Jersey Devils. Great spot here in the first leg of a back-to-back at a low price. The Rangers under 6.5. We paid up to get that no push factor. Dallas over 6. We've got Philadelphia money line, the Anaheim Ducks money line. In the association, I got the Suns over 231.5. Sacramento +1. Grizzlies +5. And the Trailblazers -5.5. In the college basketball ranks here, we've got Stetson +4.5 and Cincinnati -18. Those plays start at 7 p.m., just 8 minutes away. Good luck to everybody that's out there. Jeff M says Ohio State dropped to -4.5 in my book. Love it even more in this case here. Haven't made that an official play, but thank you for bringing it to our attention. Hopefully everybody has a great holiday. Happy New Year to everybody if I don't talk to you sooner. And we will see you again on the flip side of this thing in 2024. Stay pumping. Let's go, baby.